It seems like we just finished Apple's September event and got our hands on our new iPhones and everything else that came out in that event. But we're already preparing for Apple's upcoming October event, where there's a bunch of leaks and rumors coming out and a bunch of new devices with new refreshes and even more powerful chips. So stay tuned for all of those. One of the biggest new upgrades we're going to be getting is from the Mac Mini. Now, this hasn't been updated in about 2 years and is still rocking that M2 chip, which is still very powerful and very reliable, but it needs an upgrade to this year's M4 to handle all of Apple Intelligence's features coming to the MacBooks, Mac Studio, and now Mac Mini. Now, we're not sure exactly what features of Apple Intelligence we're going to be having, but we can guess that it's going to be a lot like the iPhone, just bringing it into desktop format. Also, one of the really big changes is a new form factor. So we're finally getting a new redesign of the Mac Mini, and it could be as small as of a footprint as the Apple TV, just bringing it up a little bit taller. So you're going to get more of a tower look, giving it a smaller footprint, which is going to make it easier to travel with if that's something you do. One of the new updates to the Mac Mini is also going to be 16 gigabytes of RAM starting. Now, I really hope they don't change the starting price of the Mac Minis, but we are going to get 16 and 32 gigabytes of RAM options from all the developer logs that we've seen and from the rumors. So that's great. We're going to get way more power to handle all the video editing, photo editing, and Apple Intelligence on device to be able to power through all of that. And the last little bit we're going to get is a refresh of all the peripherals on the outside. So we're going to be getting 2 USB-C ports on the front, which is going to be great for charging peripherals or getting power to anything you need from the front. That's extremely easy and accessible. 3 USB-Cs on the back, along with an HDMI port and the power cable. So you're going to be getting a lot of accessibility and power options with this and being able to plug in pretty much anything you're going to need into the Mac Mini. Now, the next update we're going to be getting is the MacBook Pro. And obviously, we're going to be getting that new M4 chip, Pro and Pro Max onto that as well. And just like the Mac Mini, these are going to be starting at 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is going to be phenomenal, handling all of the excessive power that the features from Apple Intelligence, photo editing, and video editing, like I mentioned before, on device. Now, one thing we're hoping is that they don't up the price of the MacBook Pros, because getting 16 gigs on last year's model was a hefty $200 increase onto the price. So we hope that they keep it at that $15.99 starting level and then up from there to the 32 gig option. But we'll have to wait and see what that is. And then obviously wait and see how much you can spec it out and what that max price is. Now, if they go the route of the iPhone Max and they get rid of that entry level starting point like they did with storage and bring it up to the 256 but charge you that $100 more, I don't really think that's going to work for the MacBook Pro market, because that's going to be a starting price of nearly $2,000 after taxes. So I think keeping it at $15.99 for 32 gigs of RAM is extremely doable for them, and it will make it more accessible for everyone, and people are going to think they're getting great value out of this year's MacBook Pros. There aren't really many other changes to the MacBook Pros. We're not getting any new screen, any new design, any new sound speakers, anything like that, or ports on the sides. So no major changes in that aspect. The big thing is going to be the M4 chips, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and Apple Intelligence on device. Now, next in line is iPads. And throughout the year, we have not seen any updates on the normal iPad or the iPad mini. So we are expecting some major upgrades to those. Now, with the normal iPad, we're not really going to see much. It's still rocking the M1 chip, so hopefully we see an upgrade to that to handle Apple Intelligence, but the major upgrades are going to be coming with the iPad mini. Now, this really hasn't been touched in a few years, but one of the best things about it is its portability and use of Apple Pencil 2, where it can just magnetically click onto the side and you don't have to charge it at the port at the bottom. So that is one of the nice things that the iPad mini has going for it already. You did have the jelly scroll effect where the two sides and the refresh rate weren't matched, so it looked a little weird and was kind of hard on the eyes. So they are going to be fixing that. We can expect a new and better screen. Now, hopefully we do get access to the M4 chips and hopefully the Apple Pencil Pro. Since the old iPad mini was allowed to use the Apple Pencil 2, I wouldn't put it past them to allow this device access to the Apple Pencil Pro, which would just open up so many more opportunities for that small form factor device. I used to use it for taking work notes and using it all day long because it was bigger than my phone, but I didn't want to lug around an entire iPad all day just to play games or take work notes on. And of course, Apple Intelligence coming to the iPads. I do expect this to be very similar to how the phones are going to be using Apple Intelligence, which most of those features haven't even been released yet, which is frustrating for all new iPhone 16 users because that is the main thing from this year besides the camera button, but we're not going to get into that right now. Now, I'm really hoping Apple Intelligence opens up these devices to just be workload handlers and a day to day without having to touch a laptop. Those are the three devices that we have leaks and rumors for this year's Apple October event. Let me know what you guys are most excited for. And if there's something that I didn't mention that you guys are hoping that they pull out as that wait, one more thing moment. I know I'm really excited for the Mac Mini and the iPad Minis. I loved my iPad Mini, as I said before. So hopefully those have some great new features. Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.